and I'm proudly dressed by Mukatani. So it's I would say handmade safari clothing.
It looks like she knows your body very well.
You know what? And she did not even take my sizes. She just
You see,
yeah, that's mentoring these graduates. Kospani.
who's been there for 30 years.
Yeah, is that guy who relies on Chogabat to get information. We need more sophisticated investigators.
But when you're a detective, how many times have you felt to him? Here, I need to press here.
I remember one of the most feared co-owner of a certain security company, Maporo Matamar. I arrested that guy. People who will collide with people in the bank. When when the prof goes on pension, they know that the prof has 6 million. And they follow you, they see.
Reach a point where people call you, Prof Mabut,
no, it's there. Just talk with DJ Cappuccino.
You know, yesterday when we met, you were wearing this greenish, like this. It's an overall like. I don't know, safari or overall. And I really liked it. I was even talking about it when you left.
Yeah.
And today you are wearing something different. And I can notice it's the same brand. What's going on here?
No. This is Mukatani, man. And I'm proudly dressed by Mukatani. So it's I would say, handmade safari clothing. Proudly made in Limpopo.
Okay.
So she used to be one of my clients that I consulted for. And now she's dressing me whenever I go for the podcast and others. And yeah, I like it, particularly because it fits well with who we are as Africans, as Limpopians and all that. And I think it's also changing the narrative, shifting the narratives, that you can now have something that you associate with but made by your own.
It looks like she knows your body very well.
You know what? And she did not even take my sizes. She just...
You see?
Yeah, so...
She must know your body very well.
My body very well. No, but remember, she's dressed me on more than one occasion. So yeah, she knows her story. You must go there, visit her.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
She's there, I think, on Paul Kruger or what, but it's toward Bendo side. I'll just give you the directions where she's operating from.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was assuming, Hore, I know you're from Limpopo, that's your roots, but like I was thinking you're based somewhere, not Limpopo.
Mostly I'm based in Gauteng, Mochelteleng. So I'm based there, but I also have some clientele and other things to do in Limpopo.
Yeah. Plus, the job you do, I know what they did to Mayor of Pretoria, where one say the address how online. You saw what they did to her.
You know,
the DA did that.
Yeah, no, I heard the complaint that. But remember, when you are a public official, which is where we disagree with most people, some of your information can easily be accessed. But of course, for security reasons. But what does it change, man? Because there's people who know you outside that platform. If really people want to know you, they'll get to know you. Someone who has a social media platform wants to hide their address, but they post from their home and they shop where we all shop. You can easily follow them. In 5 minutes, you know where they're staying.
I always see this ones who grab a fit clear number plate, move picture. I mean, that's a car you drive. If somebody onyaka,
they'll find you. If they know that you are working at ABCD place, they know this is the time they clock in. They wait for you. They'll see you. They verify how Chaisha. Tomorrow they can just come to reascertain or again. So, but nonetheless, they are afraid of the low-level scammers. You know, low-level scammers.
Those are the most dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Because they can kill you while frustrated.
Beginners can do a lot of things that are not justifiable.
No. Good, man. Welcome to another episode of Just Talk with DJ Cappuccino. Today, I'm sitting down with Thabang Bogopa, a renowned South African crime expert. I call him an expert. I don't know what you call him. And I also call him a forensic scientist, and I have reasons why. Because of his understanding of how things work, and also a lecturer at an institution of higher learning. I'm not sure if I should mention it. Should I?
No, let's leave.
Let's leave it. Yeah, but one of the top, the biggest in Africa. Born in Limpopo, Thabang rose from humble beginnings to become a leading voice in criminal justice and innovation. A former detective with the South African Police Services. Now he's actually having his niche market, cutting-edge solutions like, o ditse le di-explosives, ICT, control system, bona motho o kgala wa lwa le prime, a lwa le rena ditsotsi tsa nnete. You know, and then also combating this thing, yeah, the bombings and all this. He has done with so many things. And you know, first time when I saw you doing interviews, I was like, Grotman, man. You know, and I go sheba mabani kira man, ntwane dile ka ntho tse heavy.
Ke groot, man.
Yeah, welcome to Just Talk with DJ Cappuccino.
Thank you so much, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Ake tjele fase, ke a leboha.
No, the one. You know, sometimes as hosts, we want to introduce someone the way Naremo understand that. I don't know if there's anything that you think people should know about you.
I'm a consultant in compliance, particularly in mining and explosives, and safety and security and investigations here and there. But I'm clear, I'm a consultant.
Yeah.
I don't want to get any other title. I'm an associate with several institutions and associations related to risk management, fraud investigation, mining and metallurgy. I'm also interested in the research around crime. So I used to do a lot of research previously, even assisting people. But I'm taming it down now because I'm focusing on assisting in the knowledge production around forensic investigation.
As you even publish
and
papers,
organized crime. Yes.
Present papers.
Yes.
Okay, wow, man.
So I've been presenting papers even when I was still in public law enforcement.
Okay.
And some people would always say, come this side. I said, no, I think I have a role to play in public law enforcement. But then, you outgrow certain things. You realize also you must not become a bigger fish in a small pond.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you end up going out to pursue some of the things that you think need to be implemented. So my creed is that at times you need not just make recommendations to everyone. You should go out and be part of implementing them. If you think podcasts have a role to play in educating people, go to podcasts and educate people. Don't just write that public education through podcasts. No, go to this podcast, educate people.
Yeah.
And also, if you now have to get feedback, because that's also very important, that you get feedback from people in their original settings. That's research. That people must give you their... I'm a qualitative researcher, by the way. You need to get the original contribution from people in their original settings. That's someone now and you're like, okay, it's fine. Then another one who has 30 years experience says, this guy is merciful. This guy. Someone said, this guy is the next Prof. Somado Fikeni. I'm like, Prof. Fikeni. Do you know who Prof. Fikeni is? Now, those are the things that we need to go out there, but also implement. Of course, there will be limitations. But I'm also throwing myself in the deep end. So throughout my entire career, I've always been throwing myself in the deep end. You'll understand I became a detective when Scorpion was disbanded. So there had to be that measure as to who goes to DPCI, who goes to work in the districts for sophisticated crime investigations, and who do we blend in, who do we get rid of. So
and coming to that issue, you've been a detective. And now you are into academia, you are a researcher. Like, how has your practical experience as a detective influenced the way you approach, especially theoretical approach, to your studies of criminology and everything?
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, the practical experience aligns you quickly to what's doable, what's not doable, what's relevant, what's irrelevant, what's applicable and what's not applicable. For example, you go and you read a book or a theory, you realize that this theory is based on the jury system, which is not applicable in South Africa, which I've seen in a lot of even international conferences. Someone presents there, they speak of felonies. I'm like, South Africa, we don't deal with felonies. Don't deal with homicides. We don't deal with those things.
And then you are presenting those theories confident.
Yeah, people present masters and doctoral studies. I'm like, the terminology on its own is not applicable to the CGA's criminal justice system in South Africa. You know what I want to overemphasize? Academia should assist the industry. Also, the industry should assist academia. they should pour into each other's cup. There's this prof I like who's at the School of Business Leadership. That is a esteemed engineer. But he came back to academia to assist, to say, the engineers you are bringing now, that's why we have to... No, asibona. He came back. He's an engineer who has dealt with multi-million deals. Of course, he's still making the millions, but he's now in academia to assist. Also, when I applied for a doctorate in business leadership, the prof who was assigned to me is actually, but we disagreed because he was a member of a mayoral council in Johannesburg, one of the richest profs. He's with the Blue Party, so we couldn't find our way here and there.
You don't like DA?
No. I'm saying we couldn't find each other here and there. Because the focal area of that doctorate was going to be about inclusion of black entrepreneurs in the explosive market.
Oh.
So more or less academically. Now, I saw that I had sharp. But we need such academia who have so much industry experience coming in. You know this, I don't know if you know King Report. They always speak about King Reports, King Standards. But King is a person, Professor King. But now, that person took industrial experience, of course, with longitudinal research. But it's something that everyone speaks proudly about. But it's an outcome of one's research. Everywhere where we go, we're like, but this is contrary to the King's Code of Ethics. But that was because someone blended academia and industrial insights. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm still at the lowest of the pyramid. I'm still at the lowest level. The niche that I'm trying to bring, which is the legal control of explosives, not tapped into in academia. When you speak about it, other people even doubt you to say, But then you always have to validate what you are saying. Of course, you bring in other authors. At times, minimal has been written about this topic. Now, we don't find any literature around what you are saying. But you say, no, the fact that literature doesn't exist does not mean that what I'm saying is null and void or is not factual. Let's test it. Let's see if we can do it. Other countries, internationally, they are doing it to a certain extent. I've had the privilege through SAPS, of course, of interacting with the FBI. I've had a training with them. I have my badges. I wish one day you'll see me wearing... I have FBI badges and all
the way they present it, go Hollywood.
I have those badges. Now, and I earned them, by the way. So one day I'll wear a suit, you'll see me with all these badges and the citations that I have. But we need to produce good criminologists. We need to produce good graduates in criminal justice system, good investigators.
Because, my next question was to ask you, or as someone in academia, how do you mentor and prepare the next generation? The criminologists, especially even for forensic scientists. Do you think South Africa is producing the right batch? Because I believe crime may evolve.
Crime does evolve.
Crime was something else. Crime inele kokukasi no batulwa di transi. Now it has changed. By babeta systeming to a point where you not even notice that the color are missing until we audit after a year or two. So, do you think we are producing the right batch of criminologists?
We are attempting. But they need to fall into a system whereby, one, they will be mentored by the right ones. Let me give you an example. You'll pick it easily. You have the ballistics that has been trending in the recent weeks, ballistics from the forensic division of the South African Police Services. Now you have graduates who have all this qualification. The question is, who mentors them? It's your timer or my timer who doesn't even have matric. That's mentoring these graduates.
Who's been there for 30 years.
Yeah, is that guy who relies on Chogabat to get information, who does not rely on any other method. Now, we need more sophisticated investigators.
Yes, and as I was telling you, Kere, my biggest fear is being tortured for something I don't know anything about. and then bampress around for you.
That's a challenge that any of us can face at any day. Right, so they can say too much. They want to frame you. Life is very unfair. They can frame and pin you to something that you don't know. But when everyone says things, it appears as if I can. I can. You see, but also mistaken identity. One of my postgrad qualifications in forensic investigation, I think when I did intelligence 4, I wanted to focus on identity theft as a research niche or focus. But the things I found. And it's things I found only from reports, from newspapers to say in 1991, someone stole kids and went away with the kids. And I'm starting at the basic level. But when we integrated into the new Home Affairs system, people from the nearest countries, Lesotho, Botswana, Namibia, Swaziland, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, most of them got to be part of South African population, whereas they are not even.
They're integrated.
Here. Now,
yeah,
but also some are not indigenous of South Africa, but they got that, I would say, citizenship. So this thing of mistaken identity, someone steals your own child's identity because their Zimbabwean child or their Mozambican child does not have identity. The child must now write matric. They use your child. You hear that someone is whichever surname, or when you look at them, you can see, no way. You see? Now, the things that I found there, and I'm very glad that during this week when I was listening to the Madlanga Commission, some of the issues came out, which I spoke about in other platforms, that, hey, guys, we have real problems here. And these are the problems that people don't talk about. So there's still a lot of complex issues that we are not dealing with in South Africa. Some of the criminalities that are, in football, I want to give you an example. We have that thing that Ronaldo football age. I don't know if you know that thing. Soccer age.
Yeah.
Why is it accepted, generally accepted, that someone born in 1980 can say they were born in 1995, and we all accept? This guy
we handle age.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's accepted. There's one big one I won't mention now, that someone has 3 IDs and different companies, and I think it was brought up by one of these dubious criminals that I mentioned now, but we'll wait for it. These are the sophisticated criminal crime patterns that need sophisticated investigation.
So only a criminal could do such, isn't it? Have 3 IDs. According to the law.
Okay, let me go back to what a criminal is by definition. It's someone who's a convicted of a criminal offense. So if Waritola, you are not a criminal yet. You are a criminal upon being convicted of a criminal offense.
I was talking to my cousin. It's along with in the book, Diary of an Ex-Cop, Dumisani Nyondo. And I was telling him day before yesterday, Kere, sometimes you carry this thing here, stigma from prison. But now I think people who have committed real crimes were not caught. And I was even telling him, there are people who could have done the worst things done in 20 about Swaratseon. But when you got arrested and we let Ronkong and this thing here.
Stigma, you're an ex-convict.
Yeah. So no, I understand.
No. There's people
we can't call someone with 3 IDs a criminal because he was never arrested. I get it.
Yeah. So there's a lot, man. One of the cases that made me leave detectives was membership dispute from one of the biggest parties in South Africa. And I investigated that as a fraud. I was a very young investigator.
It must be the ANC.
But some of the things that I found made me leave, because now, I went way deeper than I was supposed to. And when you get calls from your real bosses, not the bosses that you are used to, your real bosses, say, come here and come with the case docket. Only thing you do there is to hand over and surrender the case docket and leave, to say, I'm no longer investigating any matter. So And I think that time when I left, most people were dodgy. They were like, "Whew, that boy's gone." But
I don't want us to go into that because I don't want this podcast to get anyone into more trouble than. I think you are in more trouble than I can imagine actually your life.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this issue here of torture, and I told myself, you coming to this interview, I'm going to avoid talking about Matlanga ad hoc.
that's good.
And
That's
Mkhwanazi.
good.
But I'm so tempted to just share my thoughts a little bit because I think the way Ba explaining how the PKTT worked, Mkhwanazi, I think they had leverage and unsupervised freedom to do what they want. And I have a feeling that they could have tortured one or two or thousands of people looking for what they wanted. And some of these people were innocent. And I think we could be having also unreported cases. Yeah, maybe someone is sick now, someone is injured, someone is paralyzed, or someone is dead because of their action. And I don't know if you have really thought deeper into how they operated.
So, as an academia, there's something called bracketing. Bracketing means I'll put aside my personal knowledge. I know the things you are talking about. I know the answers. I know the realities, but I'll bracket my personal knowledge. So I'll rely on whatever evidence that's brought in my face. When a judge is listening to a matter, they say, we went to this guy, we interviewed him, he started telling us this. The judge has been there, he knows that there's no way that a sophisticated criminal
Can just
voluntarily start talking about some of the things that no one is asking. So even the judge, although he knows that it's very unlikely, he reserves his knowledge. Because, of course, if no one brings it up, he does not ask about it. Because there's that formal procedure. Because remember, Madlanga and the ad hoc are not criminal proceedings.
yeah.
Under the Constitution, they are classified as other proceedings, other legal proceedings. They are not criminal, they are not civil, they are not labor-related. They are other legal proceedings. So you blend whatever that you have in from civil, from criminal, and from labor practices of the law. So it's just a blend or a concoction, I would say. But yeah, some of them, obviously, they did not wake up and say, I'm going to say things that are not unknown, that are not known voluntarily to the law enforcement. There was some pressure that was exerted, of which nature we don't know.
Yeah. But when you're a detective, how many times have you fell through him? Here, I need to press here.
Hey, Constitution protects everyone against self-incrimination. So it's known, man. It's known. But I think if the Constitution was to be applied as it is, we would not have justice. Because remember, our notion of innocence until proven guilty, the right to silence, except under Section 4, which says your names, your address, and those basic information, there you don't have the right.
That's a powerful thing you just said there.
Now,
I think it's profound. The Constitution applies it as it is.
Yeah.
We will not get justice.
No, you won't. Because I can go better know so. Pa! The prof is here watching. But I have the right to remain silent. I can go and hide whatever I used. They have to give me my rights. Section, is it 36? 35, 36. Now, 35 is the rights, 36 is the limitation clause. Now, they have to ask me, hey, Mona, guy. I say, I don't know. Or I just say, no, I have the right to silence.
That's why we need a press.
Yeah, the guy had it. The videos are showing. I walk out. After 5 minutes when they come, maybe it's Shafilo, it's Lashley Goma Juaning, or it's Lashley in the pool. Habam Bucha say, hey, call my lawyer. I have a right to remain silent. And I'm going to retain that right. You see? Now, if we were to apply it in that way, where would people get evidence? And so I'm not encouraging any peculiarity, but I'm saying there's issues that we need to understand.
But did it kill you inside when you were doing it?
What's what?
When you were pressing?
No, you know what? I had luck, man. I investigated some of the most sophisticated perpetrators or offenders. And I remember there's one I worked around here. Actually, there's two. One is the trending one, which gave me an award back around 2014. Actually, it was 2012, but I got an award a bit later, where I arrested one of the biggest taxi moguls using his own resources. No firearm, no car, no handcuffs. I just went to speak to him to say, "Bra, I've gathered all the evidence against you. Let's go so that we start account." Yeah. We drove in his taxi, driven by one of his Inkabis, escorted by them. And there was one where, okay, that day I was using state resources, and the guy showed me a lot of things that he's been stealing, a lot of sophisticated things. Then there was one, the CIT one that I worked on. The guy took me to Rodiport and Florida to show me everything that the money, and even give some. Even the cars that he bought, which were hidden somewhere. We went to go those cars, went to Lanseria for safeguarding. Now, it's not always that the pressing has to be physical. The pressing can be in the mind.
And you can press once and you can be known for
No. The pressing, I want you to understand that the pressing can be
mental,
intellectually, yes.
Yeah.
So that's why there's people who are very good in questioning. There's actually, when there's this guy, I won't mention his name, but he's a psychologist, but a very seasoned detective. I think he reached a level of a brigadier when he was in the law enforcement. He's a psychologist, that guy. He can question someone, and with videos and everything. Remember, when we came into democracy, we had to move from interrogation to interview. We interview both the witness and the accused, which is...
I saw interrogation.
Now it's no longer interrogation, it's interview. But if you can interview someone until... You can interview someone to an extent that they feel like, you know what, this is not worth doing. Let me just tell you. Yeah, Banswere. Let me deal with them and also get to account for what I've done wrong now. But sometimes when you can play around the law, how smart to say, hey, I'm just the investigator, I'm not prosecuting you. You still have your time there, go court. The prosecutors will ask you questions. You can even still deny what you told me if you're in Batla. Marana, I want to know what happened. Now. Then there's legal guidance, legal provisions. The criminal procedure expects you to now give them the rights, 292, to say, you are now implicating yourself. You are admitting to certain elements of what you have done. Do you know and understand? Yes, I understand. Do you want a legal rep or not? I want it or I don't want it. Then you proceed. Can you write? If they can write in your handwriting. Bra, I'm recording. It's too much. I'm going to record.
Because I think one of the strategic, which I believe you have used before, it's making the person, I don't want to say the criminal, because I'm learning today.
Suspected person.
Yeah, the suspect. Making the suspect believe you are on his side. Where you start to say, this guy, henka ikayalena. He's sharp.
Yeah, sharp. That worked. Remember, I was so young also. It worked for me in a lot of cases. I remember one of the most feared co-owner of a certain security company, Maporo Matamar. I arrested that guy. He ended up being my mentor after I convicted him. Yeah, even though I saw him sometimes, he's still alive, but I think he's in his 80s or 90s. He's very old now. Very influential even now. And he still remembers me. He says, hey, and I want to greet him. Hey, man. Then he jokes about it to his guards and all those to say, hey, this boy. You see, now, but that's because he understood the wrongfulness of what he did. Remember, there's what we call culpability. Culpability is understanding the wrongfulness of what you have done. You see, then there's something called a mens rea test. I can simply say it like that. Now, those are elements that must be met to say, Brad, do you understand until we really? Most people will understand, Mara, hi man, I did this and it's wrong. which is why you see someone kills Mosadi Leban and tomorrow goes to the police station. These are people who, and I want to touch it in passing, these are the people who always get awards in the law enforcement across the country. Such and such has convicted someone for triple murder. They got a conviction of 3 life sentences. But the investigator did literally less than 2%. It was the accused who brought themselves to say, Anaki Diril. Here's the firearm. Here's the knife. Here's their clothes. Like, you see? But then, higher go court, because hard dispute this guy. Dumela everything. Le Mugweba life sentence, charge 3. Or Tomo 70 sentence. Then we praise those people. The investigator, they get the award and all those. But what we also don't look at is, what about these ones who deal with the hardest of crime? And I want to say this because I always believed in it. I remember 2015 when I underwent one of the fraud investigation trainings by the DPCI. It was a national training. They picked few. I think in Limpopo was the only one. Now, the guy there, Delport, I don't know where he is now. He said, you must know that white-collar crimes are not profitable. Profitable in the sense that you can investigate someone who has done a multi-million crime, white-collar crime, and at the last moment, I'm sorry for that, they go for a plea bargaining, they admit guilt, they pay a fine of 100,000. Yeah. After you went up and down, you have so much evidence.
3 years later.
Then they say, we give you 3 months in prison or 300,000 fine. He says, I'll pay the fine. After you've done all that. So, and these are the people who are assisting us, because when you start investigating this perpetrator, you know what happens? The crime pattern subsides. Before you convict them, you have resolved a lot of crimes. Maprat and Frastan is those people who will collide with people in the bank. When Hawaya pension, when the prof goes on pension, they know that the prof has 6 million in the bank. They call Lebrat and Frastan outside to say, you see the guy wearing a jacket going out, or the guy wearing mukatani, he has 6 million in the account. Follow him. Then they follow you, they see your house. They don't rob you on the same day because 2 days later, they come and they kidnap you. That's how the kidnapping often happen. They kidnap you. Then you withdraw everything. Now, when I started investigating, I remember I was deployed in Sekukuni South. When I was investigating those things, it led me to Mokopane. When I went to the principal perpetrator there, the gentleman owned car washes and price and all that in that area. I won't mention the township. But I'm like, this guy is well respected here. But he has his own crew of Maprat and Frastan who are taking millions from pensioners. Across Mokopane, Lebuahomu, Roblesdal, Jenfest, all these towns, Pegasford,
That's why I don't even advise all people to have internet banking.
No, but even when you go in the bank, it's worse. Because this person sees your account. They see, oh, this guy is a former principal. He has so much in the account.
But how are you going to withdraw if they took you?
No, you'll go they have they have ATMs that they know don't have have CCTVs. You'll withdraw the 10,000 until you are done. They tell you, we're going with you in the bank, you're going to increase your limit. You'll say that there's a funeral or something. One mistake, elder people, they still cherish life. Then they go with you, they show you we have firearms. We are going to sit as if we are going to be helped. But you're going to go there alone. You're going to say you want to increase the limit. You're going to go out. Or you are going to withdraw while we are with you in the bank. One mistake will kill you and these people. Now, those are some of the crimes that, going back to our discussion.
Old lady, ne?
No, that's a good one. But so those were the crimes that when we tapped into and kept, remember there's one of the constitutional mandate of policing, Section 205 of the Constitution, is combating of crime, which is what Mukwanas is good at. Combating of crime. Now, in the process of detection, you get to combat. Now, when you combat, it's like when there was a time, I think Thabang Bogopa spoke about it, when people would just write an account number, drop it to a municipal manager, so transfer 2 million to this account. They leave the office. You'll figure out whether ubafa tender or you'll figure out. You see? Now, they withdraw that money, they close that account. That's how heinous crimes. But once you go out there and you pursue them, how many lives are you rescuing? Even before you arrest them, the fact that they know, hey, there's guys who are after us, who are investigating us. You know, when a criminal is where they are and the wife calls to say, "Oh, kanti baba, kuna maphoyisa la batho baya kufuna." He's like, "I did this thing in Gauteng and they are here in my home. Komhlabu ya Lingana or Kanzinginzingi or Lesikisiki." You know that guy is going to stop. He can stop even for the whole year. Because he did crimes 800 kilometers from his home. And when I go high, you're like, I go buy.
And I'm worried about
I'm going to buy food. I'm coming to camp at your gate, bro.
Before they sleep. The very same crime you're talking about. It's a extortion. It's a kidnapping.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling a friend, Kerry, now establishing a security company, it is no longer even about you want to get tenders or anything. We are going to reach a point, if things don't change, and maybe I have to be optimistic that things will change. We're going to reach a point where people call you, Prof. Mabut,
no, it's there.
and then you can't say no.
Yeah, it's there.
Because you don't have security around you.
It's there. You know, it's just that things are not followed through. I've covered so much of that in the Eastern Cape. When it left Western Cape, it went to the Eastern Cape. Crime displacement, it went to target people in the Eastern Cape. And we did so much awareness that the criminals, even before they were confronted by police, they left. They started to leave the Eastern Cape because they saw that they were given the spotlight now. That thing happens, bruh. In Polokwane, it has happened a lot that they call someone, they take kids when they come from a high-impact private school. To say,
I remember that case, yeah. That
several,
guy.
not one, several.
There are many, and some are kept secret.
Yes,
They don't talk about it.
These guys, the Jews and others, they don't even report to police. They simply settle it within their cycles. If someone wants 2 million, get 2 million for them. We'll later report it.
Deal with it,
or deal with it our own way. Which way? We don't know. But so we really need to cap some of these crimes. I want to talk about the security. Where I stay in, I'll just say outside Sentinel or around.
Yeah, you are in Brazil.
Yeah. Now, some of my neighbors.
You're so defensive for the police.
Some of my neighbors, they park cars worth 5 million every night outside their premises, registered as security. There's this guy I recently saw, and for sure, man. He parks more than 6 Fortuners. And because I know security technology, they have some of the most expensive security
that is
tech. Now, one, you'd find that the guy does not even have one client. He's only protecting himself.
He's protecting himself.
Previously, I spoke about this, that how do you have someone patrolling with a car of 1.2 million? Patrolling.
I was at a festival, like one of the security guys. What is this? The Raptor. 12.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the route that we need to go to, especially Janyoko. Get your security guys.
Yeah. But it's something we need to talk about. I know that the private security industry regulating authority is now focusing on this after we spoke about it. Because imagine you are going to an event I'm going. I come with 20 bouncers with 20 rifles. We are both at the event. We both have the same accreditation. But I come with those bouncers. They are just all around here with those rifles. I mean, one day we are going to hear of mistaken killing. One would call up a trigger. And you can see they're not properly trained. You don't put your finger on the trigger, bruh. Some one up. You know, sometimes when I walk around, this takes us to Firearm Control Act. Is it really the implementation? Is it properly implemented? Because you see, the Majita, they walk around the malls with firearms. And the law says anyone who's not wearing law enforcement regalia should not have their firearm visible in public, because that creates a public scare or public panic. One. Two was mentioned, I think, by Mkwanas. When you have a rifle, it must be in a ransack.
Not this thing of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ransack, often Majita, the last time I traveled with some of this Nkabis, Kibafile lived. Never to ransack. And I could see, and I told them, hey Majita, here, relax. I go to drop a moleang. If you're going to find your car, you'll find it there, not with me. Then they relaxed, they took them off and put them. Because I could see. But also, you know, when you're a researcher, you always want to get new information and new knowledge. You don't pass knowledge on the road and go to rely only on the... You need to go out there, speak to people. Some of these heinous criminals, you need to speak to them so that they give you the modern current trends. You see, so Majita, I'm talking about the escort gold powder from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Botswana borders. You see,
how many security guys do you work with?
Let's leave that one. Let's leave that one. Of course, I do have several several high-impact security companies who are my brothers. We deal with each other. We assist each other here and there. We advise each other. We back up each other.
Because I see you disguise it so well that you have people protecting you. And I like it. I can see these guys are professionals and they know what they're doing. I wanted to ask you this. I had 5 questions for you. This is the third one. Your explosives ICT control system, remember that you came up with or you refined, has attracted national attention.
Yeah.
And especially for its potential to curb the cash-entrusted haze and everything. How do you envision the integration of this technology, like current policing?
Thank you so much. So I'm the director of NAP Intex. That's my company. I rebranded recently from NAP Innovative Projects and Consultant to NAP Intex. What we are currently busy with is having a lot of security softwares or security systems. It's not just that one. That one was the first one which emanated from my master's research. And of course, I've conceptualized it, I've tested it, and proven the viability. Now, I'm currently pushing commercialization. It's going so well. But what we are working towards now, it's a product called XBay.
Okay.
And soon I'm going to work in... XBay is just an integrated system whereby we can control explosives. Of course, the patent and the trademark is in that name that you mentioned, but we're now changing it to be a platform whereby anyone can apply, they get screened, and if they qualify, they get the rights, the licenses and everything. But also, we get to regulate the manufacturing. We get to detect if any, I would say, unregulated explosives exist in the market. But also, it will be a platform to link the source of the explosive to the registered user the registered user. So if it was mine A in Rustenburg, we will see that this batch was purchased by this mine in Rustenburg, but it ended up leaking to criminals. That's where we're going to pin it down. And it will work in such a way that it will be so reliable. It will be like, how it's working is real-time monitoring. It could even detect and pick some of the discrepancies. I won't say everything here because some of its functionality will be regulated through non-disclosure agreements that the law enforcement can get more insight into it before anyone picks it. I'm also working with some very young, brilliant software engineers in Gauteng. mostly I got from UP, to work around bridging the gaps in law enforcement. I'm working on one of the protection services of the police services. When there's an event, you see how Uber and Bolt and others are working. Let me give you an example of an event you'll understand. There's a football game at Peter Mokaba or FNB. There's 300 police who went there because they love the soccer, but they're not on duty. They could be on standby and remunerated for standby allowance.
Wow.
But if there's a need, they just call and then
There's
they
a
go
software.
to the... Yes, it's there. Then they go to the VOC, then they resume official duty. The only thing is that Baskaba Chel, then there'll be just a minor, what's that? There will be minor due diligence.
But there must be conditions to accept.
Yes.
A develop maybe a one.
Yes. Now, also, December, some of the high profile law enforcement from across the country, Batlagai.
Mashabelo fitted.
Okay. But
Mm.
Now, when they are here, they could easily go on like standby duties throughout.
Yeah.
On neighboring how, if there's a housebreaking or something, the penny could easily activate anyone in that radius.
Oh.
Then they assume official duty because the constitution is clear that the police are is. You see, the police can assume official duty at any time. So that's what we pushing. But then there's, APIs are very expensive. Having an API into SAPS or an API into intelligence or an API into any other law enforcement. And also the security of your system has to be stress tested, which is what we are pushing. We are stress testing it against all form of hacking. We're using some of the best ethical hackers in the country currently. Now, I'm having a plethora. There's this young prof who really inspired. I thought I was doing big things. This young prof from UJ, man, he's doing amazing things. He just spots a loophole in government or anywhere. He comes, he conceptualizes the solution, they code it down, and they stress test it until the government can purchase it for testing, of course. And if they want it, then they can procure it. So those are some of the solutions that we have. The explosive ICT control system was the main one that I started with, which is doing so well, but it opened doors for other solutions. Somewhere you need to have a situation whereby if you are in an event, you can report a crime digitally.
Okay.
But you can also get response from people who are trained and proficient from the app. Then they resume duty and they will get reimbursed for having responded. So if how tenkontlo, medemor they could request that assistance, and that assistance could be available from the neighborhood. This thing idiraki majita. The neighborhood watch and all those things. So they're still doing them manually, mostly. But those are the things that could be encapsulated into public law enforcement and actually reimbursed. We're now hearing that Polokwane will now have a status of a city or something like that to be a metro soon.
Yeah.
Now, if they are at a status of a metro, they qualify to have broader law enforcement. That's how then the system that we could sell. Panyaza implemented some of these systems that private security could fit in. Go Branston Center, we have them. They fit in CCTVs, but these CCTVs could be used for public law enforcement. So if Fidelity could easily respond and later then channel government to rail and all that. By the time an official car comes, there's 4 security companies that are chasing.
Already.
Yeah. Sometimes by chaser, when I was at or by Utswija, you're just surrounded by blue lights. They say, hey, your car was stolen, we brought it back. So those are the issues that we're trying to resolve. But also for the poorest of the poor, because it's not everyone who will afford private security. There's those who go to the upmarket areas, but all they afford is the bond. 30,000. then child.
O na le ho salla ka
Yeah.
di-services,
Yeah, le
ebile.
ko ntlong, ke
O na le ho
mpete
salla
fela. Wa bona?
ka estate fees,
Yeah,
lengeng,
yeah. Le di-levy fela di matter. You see, now they need to enjoy the same level of security as their neighbors. So those are the solutions that I have, hoping soon to focus fully on them.
That's brilliant. I wish you can develop them. And
No, they are developed, but the issue is the stress testing.
Yeah.
Because you can easily develop a solution, but you also need excessive software engineering behind it. The same way you transfer your money, mara iya go ishango thing. It's because Bible feel so that no one can divert the money before you feel got the right account.
Because I wanted to say, I wish you can develop them to a point where now you can actually distribute them. Got like the run functional, because I feel that is actually innovative way to deal with what we are facing now.
Yeah.
I also trying to go to Sersant Mamang, Ayekai. No. Things have changed now.
Yeah, you know what? As you move into the next question, there's a lot of security technologies that we need to integrate into public law enforcement and public safety, because that's my interest. For example, the issue of facial recognitions. How can I go more long? There's those CCTVs that are always taking faces. So someone is wanted in Polokwane, but the person is always at Mall of the North. The facial recognition should peak and report to say that face Revoni again and no go Mall of the North.
Because in the movies we've seen it, where Mamma fit to another state of what, then I pick up something.
It exists. Some of these technologies, you just need to purchase it, code it well, link it to an API of the law enforcement. Like Enetis. Enetis, it's a private system. Of course, it's used publicly, but it's private. The Oracle, government and all those things are privately owned. Crime administration system, CAS, your neighboring, hey, case CAS mamang. Those things were private things, but then the government took it, and seems like each and every administration is just keeping to it to say, hi, this is the best. So we need just to bring the tech, code it well, link it to an API, and start working. Similar to how you see certain private, is it courier companies or postal services? You can go and do your fingerprints now. In 30 minutes, you get the results. They got a link and API to some of the public databases. But it's very expensive.
By I operate. Having dealt with white collar crimes, especially these organized syndicates, what trends do you see emerging, especially in Limpopo, that maybe the viewers should be aware of?
With white collar?
Yeah.
I'm going to speak about basic white collar. But these tender frauds, to be honest, we ignore them. We don't see them as...
This is crime.
As crime. That's one of the... That's... Even before we speak about corruption, the frauds on their own. This is whereby someone takes a profile and they only change the company registration. Company today for they just think, those are the things we don't talk about. Some of these crimes whereby someone says
whereby some things are that to maximize profit.
Yeah, now whereby an inspector of government goes and say, "Aye, skolo sela seteng, or I skon tri sela ke yona ke 20 kilos, mareli 2 kilos." To say, "Aye, ke se bone ke 20." It connects the villages. You have 18 kilos gravel.
It's a crime.
That's crime, bruh. Those are the emerging trends which I think should be addressed. The specialized commercial crimes courts should be convicting people for those. These clean audits in the most corrupt government entities, be it at local, provincial, district, and national. These are the emerging crime trends whereby money can simply disappear and people get clean audit.
Yes.
You see, now, it's emerging and it needs to be investigated. You see, I'm not making or casting aspersions, but I'm saying these are the emerging trends that I am observing. And I think if we get it right there, the crime culture will be controlled. Because criminality as a culture is very dangerous.
Because I'll tell you something. Na, ke holetse Themba, Maskrala. When we grew up, we were admiring Magenza. And I think you can relate. We wanted bona ke uthile batile da mentse batile ba tsena ba irang. And some of us, we end up, because we were foolish, ra follow those things when we were young.
Some of them.
But now we want to mimic people who are rigging tenders. And there's someone who thinks who feels amarnadi bereka matlala.
Yeah, you check social media, you hear people saying, hey, so-and-so deserves justice because of so. They laugh about it to say, if he comes out, I want to associate with such a person. But what we are not addressing is the fact that, we need the government. That's why even millionaires are always close to government. Because there's this annual symposium of military intelligence. It happens in Sentin. I never miss that. These guys will tell you that the biggest consumer for all corporates,
you just walk to
for
Sundays.
all these corporates, is government. You see, now we must continue seeing and understanding that the biggest consumer globally is governments. Which is why Trump one day said, Elon, but if the government was to withdraw everything from you, you'll move from being a billionaire to being poor. It's because of the government fundings, but also the deals that we gave you as government. What does that tell you? We need to safeguard the government so that new emerging entrepreneurs can continue making business with the government. But business that will assist even the poorest of the poor, businesses that will improve livelihood, but also this issue of private security, I'm going back to it a bit, is not sustainable. Because there's things I'm thinking, how chonne and not feel, you might do wrong things. You might be like, I wish I could speak to that throat man and tell him of the technologies that by virtue of being a private security, he qualifies to buy on the market. But you know what is the problem? They can read your laptop as you're opening it. They can read your WhatsApp. They can check everything. They can do everything because they have a status. They are private security. Remember all these people who are capable of even feeding and assisting the state. It's because they have a certain status.
Right. It's very dangerous, this thing.
I want to give you an example. There's a guy I knew, I think it was around 2012. He had franchise with some of the biggest network providers. The time they were not trending. So when you want a cell phone or to track something, you could simply go to him. You just punch in the phone and say, regard to so-and-so and so-and-so, this is the phone, this is the IME number. Within the formal processes, it will take 7 days, turn around and a lot of documents, the magistrate must sign and all that. But that guy, you could give it to him verbally to say 07177 what. He tells you it's owned by so-and-so. He's saying this, here's the address, here's what. Here's the
Some even abuse it
information.
or check the SMS.
Yes, now, 1, 2. I don't know whether they've controlled it, but by that time, if someone has a contract and they are the owner of the contract, they have the right to that statement, that long statement, which at that time, because we didn't have WhatsApp, the statement would also show the messages.
Hi,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yes.
Now, yeah, but now it was also susceptible to abuse because that guy, he could access any contract with that dealer. So he was not regulated, and I don't think there's been an improvement. I've not been in that space for long, but I think there's still people who can have access to your personal data by virtue of them making business in that field. You see, of course, there might be regulations. You have the Regulation of Interception, Electronic Communications Act, all those legislations, the POPIA, but you also have the Promotion of Access to Information Act. Now, immorality can happen, brah. So we need to bring this and regulate it. That's why you had most of my innovations. I want to hand them to government.
Yeah.
I want to assist the government. Of course, procurement must happen. But we need the power back to the state. Because if the power is so much in the private sector, there's going to be a time whereby some evidence can easily be produced by private sector than the public sector.
Because private sector is more armed than public sector. Private sector has more sophisticated technology.
Tech, yeah.
Even but for everything, they can detect than even the government. And I think it's a problem on its own. Very soon, private sector will be telling the government what to do, which has already started.
No, remember what was said by Kele, that his guys in the taxi industry, they go and hire highly trained special operatives of the government to come and work for them. These are people who know how to do surveillance and counter-surveillance, intelligence and counterintelligence. These are the people who
killing machines.
Yes, these are the people who can track you from Cape Town to Cairo. These are the people who could, they know some of the technologies that are illegal in the country, but they know where they should get them.
No wonder how we relay the Chilago Josie or Tabela the villaging.
Yeah.
How did they track him?
I get a brow via cell phone. Your cell phone is always having it's always sending a signal of where it is. That's what I told you. I didn't want to go deep into it. The network providers. They don't go the right route. Simply if they want to, if it's a serious cartel, they buy the franchise across all. They buy CLC, Telcom, MTN, Vodacom, Rain, and all these other things. They have them. They keep quiet. They search you. If they could just get your number, they search it, okay, this is the network provider. Most the towers are always communicating. When you move from one tower to the other tower, they are communicating. Or better, there's what we call triangulation. Triangulation means we take from the 3 towers around you, then they will pin you down. Yeah. So those are the issues that I think, and we saw a mistake when some of the network providers, the state used to have 51% and it sold it and all that, because that says that the state no longer have power to regulate what must be done or not done in those entities. So those are some of the issues.
No, man, there's so much we can talk about crime. I wanted to touch on this point, and also I think you have said a mouthful about what you think about ad hocs and everything. But in short, I don't know if there's anything you think we need to include before we close, because now I'm satisfied with everything.
No, thank you so much. I don't have much, but let us support the public law enforcement entities in so far that we possibly can. And I always say General Mkwanazi has shown us the direction. It's our responsibility, and it's upon us as citizens to take it 1,000 miles in that direction.
No matter if you pressurize like something, this guy's by running something. There was something that was coming that made that guy to wake up 6 July and say, to protect my life, I must do this thing.
I have a problem, but he has shaped the direction that we must take. Yeah. No, anyhow, any adult will always protect. Even protect. Any adult will protect themselves. It's common.
What could be? Let's not go there. It's fine.
Yeah, so let's make sure that we support the public law enforcement.
Yeah.
But also, to the best of our abilities, let us help in rooting out corruption. Because imagine the people who are now getting to fathom that they lost their parents because someone took millions that belong to a certain hospital, and that hospital could not rescue their parent. The parent is no longer molofasing, simply because someone ujile chelta or supplier more ya hospital. You see, no, so those are deep, bruh. Someone who loses ngwana, go on the floor because someone o krile tender o supply me better say supply mara invoice.
Mara wa o supply mpeto wa 20 ranta ka 5,000 outlisa o wrong.
That's also another problem because ka 5,000 na ka supply me kae.
Yeah.
I get the bargain Public Procurement and Public Finance Management Act, procurement and all those municipal procurement and municipal finance management act. They are regulator, and they regulate around 30% or so of your margin. Marona udra 300% margin. This Zaka Bramas tlamehile at least as kontiri more nurses expect because you can go and do
these
business.
people, why? I've never heard. Maybe I'm ignorant, but Mamang is convicted for that. We see them still bowling and organizing their special parties.
So,
we never invite.
you know-
we don't qualify there.
You know what I tell people? Go to Specialized Commercial Crimes Court here in Mangong and in Polokwane, even in the high courts. You'll see the people we look up to, they are going through some are going on trial.
Baba Chelan.
Yeah. Now the issue is lahale convicted. Agaya mogola fine. Remember, with commercial crimes, we need the money to come back into the fiscus. So instead of raw gwebe 5 years, rather raw gwebe 5 million fine. Then upatele that fine with a criminal record. Then you must know, then that's where the issue of recidivism comes. Repeat offenders. Have a job at that 500,000 fine.
Unyako cover.
Yeah, unyoko cover na hasana future kere. Hasana mwaka yang. So udira everything kankane byalo. Haba mgwebe. You know, there's these people who you'd find someone has 20 companies registered in innocent names. They take cousins, had cousin di fela, uja bana, haba naba fela, uja innocent kids in the community. That's why you had that VBS barile bachaja motwa wa 19 years for that thing. And I was one of those who said, lena le sokela ngwana man. You say ngwana o tsutse the VBS.
That's why I like 29-year-old people mentioning kwa. You can see ngwana ola itse lu ya.
Lena le tshwenya bana man. You are abusing bana. Now, those are the issues that I come and take your IDs. You know, when I say, bra, kopela check something, give me your credentials. Now there's Maguzumela who went into security using my details. They put me there as a manager. They tender. They get the tender. I only.
But your profile.
Yeah, they took my profile by Kinjita. I know some Kamulati. So those are.
And ufanya 500,000.
Leave that. So these are the issues that we need to tap into, bra. Now I still believe that the government must be supported. The government must not be wrecked to its knees. Arpopeng, but reska popar wisha musho. Because haranya musho wela mrago. This is the other thing that most people are not conscious around. Whereby, you know, bra, facing the stigma ya gore awa, you know what you did. Lenalia tsaluishche musho. Like, but I never. You know when you try to convince people, even in the private. Remember, this thing is going to affect us even in the private sector than in public. People think that if reka wisha musho, bra, then what la son la go ba utsoshe bona. But better go private.
Wisha ke bomang.
Di trakanyana tse di tlotswa kaofela ba re ile na
Wisha ke bomang.
A ke di braja rena mfethu.
Ke leadership.
Yeah, baphathi ba re khawatha, but also favoritism. You know, we need to call things, bra, and to say, Thabang, don't do that. You see, because there's things that people do, you know, it's fine.
I can get the passion leaving, or you are saying, or we're given a gift, and the things that we are praising are actually killing that gift, and this gift. And then keep up for it, we know them. Anyway, this is another episode of Just Talk.
Bra.
I don't think it fits.
Bra,
yeah.
Look at the poverty in Africa. Ask yourself, or do you want to be there? There's areas more longer habaya tropong or anywhere, bra. Ba emela any random van. Ba namela van ba lo ma 40 ka mo morago. That's their transport. How not taxi, how not anything. I tell people, or guys, do you know quantum galaxy?
And the leadership overseas.
Yeah, or they're operating somewhere and the rest of the masses batlhaga. Rena at least motho a tlhaka yo tšea sasa bra o namela quantum. Ape quantum ke luxury mfethu. In so much that we don't realize. O kgona ho kena ko spare ka tšhelete ya sasa a ja. A ya dladleng. A betha moriri a loga moriri ka tšhelete ya grant. We don't want to lose that. Of course, there's bigger things, but I'm taking a common viewer to the lowest to say we don't want to lose what we got. We must not lose it. We must protect it. I love to cite this guy, Prof. Makgoba, who said to the former president Thabo Mbeki to say, keep your politics, I'll keep my academia and my science. You see, let's try to restore sovereignty of the country. But let's try to restore what we can restore. What's left, let's restore it, bra. Bra o nyoko to tlhageletsana le bana le mosadi hempe mfethu. Le adimishana di jacket. Le adimishana masokisi ndieta di under. Those things, bra, people don't know. Na have majita ba ileng gore ko ntle. I travel a lot, by the way. Bra, poverty ileng ko ntle, it's hectic, man. Hectic. You don't want to be explaining to your kid why Basanjo Baskaja today, maybe tomorrow Batlaja. You don't want to be queuing for food by Tisha Kantola food parcel, that chopper, United Nations, with your kids. Obakisha ngwana stampa tepa mahal. Because that's the worst that can happen. And people think it's not possible. It can happen if we're breaking it down gently. We don't want to be queuing for food parcels with our own wives and kids. We want to be able to supply and provide our families for so long that we can. And let's keep. Barasalo wana magata ko Africa. I don't know if you have traveled. O kry motho a pere uniform a o phulega mfethu. Monwana o tswile mola. Mara ke le gata le spanning.
A tshwere beite.
Yeah. O kile bo 15 kilos or atle mola because it's a strategic sport. How ka rai wa vaya? Ana ora ka o kitimisha, ana intercom, ana ora ka bolele anyone. Uno tshwara ka la ra ka o kry you'll feel
Uno
it.
check a face.
You see? So those are the challenges we don't want, bra. O kry le gata le re mfethu no mpha borotho go. Na gona borotho ka mokoloi. Ke le gata le spanning at that time. Apona le bodara jengwe mfethu o sno
At least ba mo ba khona ya lwena ATM-eng. ATM tse di to feletsa di sena tšhelete. Ba no ba khona va lwena.
O kgona gore mpethele cash send or e-wallet. Wa bona wa re mfethu ai tshwara a ke nyako senyetša span. Wa bona now we need to protect the sovereignty of our government, bra. Batho ba batlang ka mo South Africa ba gafe. They know gore ka mo diantsha.
Le bona ba bang ba ka ba ibe ba senya.
Let's maintain it, bra. Also, yeah, you're right, because we have a lot of now these criminals who are coming here. They do heinous things. We need to find a way that criminality is not a second culture.
Tell me, man. You know, yeah, this thing, yeah, this mafias, international mafias, is true that here.
To a certain extent. True to a certain extent. But you'll understand that what one of the embassy the way they span ka teng gore gona le embassy ya ka ya Israel ya USA and all that. USA they can't bring embassy and not bring intelligence. There's no way. Now, this intelligence had ilemo. They see a loophole. Remember ke batho ba ke di government employees ka go ga bona. Meaning salary le high there is not as ya ba ka flourish.
It's already we send the ambassador from the 13th floor.
Then I 22 floor, second. Now, how about Fihlamo? They see, Evan, Momzanzi. Ohono Vaisha Moto, each of materials before they analyze the cartridge. Mosangatisha Majida Gakamo, but about better, Baba Jaflight Bajik.
And I'm not going to lose this advantage, yeah, originally criminologist. But what do you think about this thing here, our ambassador, Mar? Ekrafela as Oskatsowa, man. Kidlo za France.
It was very unfortunate. May his soul rest in peace if he has indeed passed away. Hasama Tomo, Kabo Sasa, who agrees we've seen things like this. A multimillionaire baro utuchika Corolla Ichwaga Airport. When last did you see a multimillionaire Zamaga Corolla?
Before.
You see.
Airport.
Ichwaga and all that. So, but because I understand international treaties, I understand international intelligence, I understand or protect her sovereignty, I understand national intelligence, strategic intelligence. I won't divulge a lot, but I have a full understanding.
Aba bamthetho ifuna ukuthi awuthi span mfethu mfonele angizotshuna span sa ungizwile mos. My brother, thank you for coming and grazing our podcast. We're still young, we're still pushing this thing, and then I think you're a heavyweight. I love your brain. I love that you read. I love that you're exposed to things, and it's really a blessing to have someone like you in this podcast. And then I wish you all the best. I wish your ideas of curbing crime can be listened to and given a chance. And you mentioned something, Yaure. United States will pump a lot of money, even in research. There are people who are actually getting billions just to research, to solve problems in the country. And Bafwetu leadership, please, man, say protect the country, Bafwetu.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Just Talk. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, criticize us, build us. Just Talk with DJ Cappuccino.
Thank you so much.
Escape to the luxurious Meropa Hotel in Polokwane and immerse yourself in a world of Moroccan-inspired grandeur. With 54 standard rooms and 4 luxurious suites, our hotel offers affordable accommodation options tailored to suit your needs. Whether planning a conference or seeking a weekend escape, our hotel provides the perfect setting for your next adventure. For bookings, email sunmeropahotel@suninternational.com or call our hotel reception on 015-290-5400.
Just Talk with DJ Cappuccino.
My name is DJ Cappuccino, Fortune Maswangani, Mhlali, Jingindaba wa Mkhatshane, Mkhatshane wa Holeni, Holeni wa Mashango, Mashango wa Mpatsi, Mpatsi wa N'waxihoxani, Mpatsi wa Nkhandlana, Nkhandlana wa xitlhelo xa xikaya xa le ndleleni, xa ku khwenyuta vahundzi, vandlela, va ku rhandza ku tlanga hi ku tovana. Holeni, gape ke Tebogo, ke ngwana wa Mmatladi wa Pula ya Marole. Ke nna setlogolo sa Bakgatla ba Mosetla wa Magana le Kgomo. Ba re ha e namele setlhare a e je boreko ke mo Setlaong.
Just Talk with DJ Cappuccino.